Hello, welcome to the month of May. It's so exciting to be done this month and 21 weeks into my weekly play challenge. I'm so happy with the results so far. This month in particular was a bit of a low energy month. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I was touring a show around my province in Canada. This was a very nice, lovely play that I had to do across several weekends in a bunch of different schools and theaters in my hometown, my home area. And I'm really excited about that, but it did take up some of my time. In addition to that, we've been moving. So when I wasn't on tour, I was moving things back and forth between two places. But I mean, the results, like, got this lovely window and vines rolling up it. And I've got this nice big monitor right there. My partner has lovingly put up some of my posters behind us. You can see some of my favorite Ghibli movies here. We've got Kiki's, we've got Naushka, and we've got Laputa. Great. 3 great movies. This one's definitely my favorite here in the middle. So, I'm going to tell you about this month's 4 plays, but I'm only going to do the categories. So first, to tell you about our week 18 play, which is a fun little commercial. I'm going to send it over to Past Me. Take it away. Wait, don't go. Could I give you something? You want this? You want that? Okay, you can go then. This first play has to do with veterans. This particular play, it starts off as this sort of kitschy commercial, and then it moves into more of like a Starship Troopers kind of thing, and then back to kitschy commercial at the end. It's a world where the treatment of these people is less than human, it's less than decent. And that's what I wanted to explore. I don't know if it's really doing all of the work that it could be doing. I definitely could have written it a lot longer than that. And I also think that there are so many nuances to a conversation like this that I don't understand because I don't have experience with that type of thing. But I know for a fact that our treatment of people has degraded over time. There's a certain amount of support that we could be providing and a certain amount of love that could be getting sent towards people who are doing things that are important. And also a conversation that could be had about whether or not it is necessary to be sending people out to fight for God knows what. I don't know what. I'm realizing now I'm kind of out of my depth in this conversation, but I think it is something to talk about. And even if it does spark a little conversation, maybe it's doing some good. I'm gonna have to sort of analyze that myself. But that's it from me for week 1, technically, and I'll send it to the categories. Show me categories. Make a grandma. All right, so let's talk about the categories on that one. Pages only 2, and for words 488, so not the biggest, but it is a commercial. Themes, I put infomercial and military satire, although the thing I'm satirizing is not completely just the military, it's this fake military, so I don't know if that counts. Time writing, 2 hours. Prep and planning, not really, and you'll see this whole month, not really any prep and planning. There was a few reasons for that. For potential, I put low. I don't see this going any further than just being like a commercial sketch. Comedy, 60-40 drama. That's just because I think it is a sketch, but it's still like about a real issue. Friend approval rating, most of this months are from Lux. It says it's easy, funny, and witty. Nice, that's a good combo. Do I trust that? Pretty much, although Lux is always a little bit more generous with me, and I think in this one case, she might be able to give me a little bit too much credit. I even like toned it down. She said hilarious, but I put funny. Potential costumes, I think you could have military uniforms, but with like bright, fun colors. I think it would be funny if it was that camouflage kind of look, but it was like all bright and neon. And my favorite line is dial 555/marks get set go in Morse code in the air with any standard issue firearm. I think that's just a funny image. My favorite character, of course, is Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you want to know why he's in that play, go read it. And overall rating is a 5. It's just a sketch. You know, I write sketches a lot. I don't consider them to be actually like plays. So for that reason, I'm like, this isn't as much as I wanted it to be. It's just a sketch. All right, I'm gonna move on to our week 19 play. So I'm sending it off to another version of Past Me. Take it away. Hey folks, I want to talk about something important. I am disabled. I'm not going to get into much more detail than that, but I have physical and mental limitations in my day-to-day life, and they prevent me from doing a lot of things that I really would rather be on top of and actually doing, and you know, they in general make my life worse. It's tough, but I'm talking to you now about it because I have written a play that I think speaks to my own experience with disability and also experiences that other people might have outside of that. The play is called 10 Centimeters. It's honestly, it's probably one of the best works I've written so far this year. There's so much life to it. There's so much heart. And there's a real pain behind it. I really think if you're going to read any of the ones that I wrote this month, go read that one. It's not very long, but it is quite long in comparison. A lot of prose dialogue. And it speaks about a person, JJ, who in the story I don't super get into it, but is a mechanical engineer and is paralyzed from the neck down thanks to family life that they had growing up. And I really don't want to spoil and much more than that, but this particular play speaks about how their disabilities impacted their life, how relationships with your family can turn sour and really like they rot when you have this responsibility of disability between them, and also how it won't stop me. My disability sucks and I don't like living with them, but I'm not gonna let it keep me from my life. I'm not gonna let it keep me from anything I want to do. It will. Like, I can say that as much as I want, but it will prevent me from doing things, and it will keep me from important moments. But I'm not gonna let that keep me from living how I want to live and living to the fullest. So that's this play, 10 Centimeters. Please read it, and I'm gonna throw it over to the categories. Thank you. So let's talk about the categories for that one. For this play titled 10 Centimeters, we've got 5 pages, 1,920 words, themes of abuse, revenge, ability. Time writing was about 6 hours, no prep and planning, just my life experience in this one. Potential is high. I really like where this could go. For comedy, it's pretty low, 30%, but drama, 80%, huge drama in this one. Friend approval rating comes from Lux once again. She says, damn, just damn. Now that's high praise. I love that. Potential costumes. I think it should be modern clothing, but it should be smart. It should be clean. I don't think this character, JJ, will be underdressed. I think they're a bit hoity-toity in their thinking, and that translates to well-made fashion. My favorite line is, "Dear Lord, Mama, it won't stop staring at me." That's what JJ says. My favorite character's got to be JJ. It's a one-person play, so JJ's obviously the favorite character. And overall rating, I put this at a 9 because I love this one. I think it's got a lot of heart and every time I go back and reread it, I love it even more. I think there are some things I can develop further, so I do see it becoming bigger. And for that reason, I didn't quite put it at a 10. It's not like full as the way I'd want it to be, but I love it, so I'm going to keep it the way it is. That's it for this one. Send it off to the next week. You want to know a thing that not a lot of people have encountered? Icebergs. I don't think I've ever been on an iceberg or even seen one. And I live in Canada, eastern Canada, which actually is rather famous for having a lot of glaciers that come down. You'll see them if you go up to places like Newfoundland and Labrador, or even further up to like Greenland, Iceland, or even further towards the Arctic Pole. You've got Norway, Finland. All of these places very familiar with icebergs and glaciers. My play this week has to do with cruises. Cruise ships travel all over the world right now. There's even a cruise ship that has a 1 year long stay, and it goes around the entire world. In my opinion, cruise ships are maybe the most stupidest business in the world. You make this giant boat which floats on the ocean, 3,000 million tons of material and people sitting on this basically city on the ocean. And what do? They swim in a pool on the boat. I think it's stupid. I think it's silly. And I wrote a play that has the jumping off point of somebody who's on a cruise, goes up to the North Pole with the intent of getting something for their daughter. I had a friend read this play, and there's kind of an ending to the play. It at one point, you stop seeing the situation and then you come back to it. And I want you to read it because I left that ending in there. But my friend says it's better without it. And I might agree, but it's past the week. I already finished writing it. I'm not going to change it now, but I would love to hear other opinions. So if you do end up reading this one, go down into the comments and tell me what you think about that ending and if it's necessary. All right, thank you. So this play I've called The Floating Dream, based on just some of the language in it. It's got 4 pages, 1,462 words, themes of connection and family and perception. Time writing, 3 hours. Prep and planning, not applicable to this one. Potential, medium. It has somewhere to go, but I don't know if it's really going to be that huge. Comedy and drama, I put them both at 50. I think it's kind of a dark comedy the way it's playing out. Friend approval rating comes from Eric. He said, it should have ended at the blackout. And actually, Lux, who rated all the other ones here, also agreed it should have ended at the blackout. So this is a question that I think I asked in the video that you just watched, but I'm going to ask it again. If you think it also should have ended there, please add a comment down below and tell me what you think, because I'm conflicted. That's why I put unsure. Potential costumes, she's got to be like full-on winter weather, Arctic kind of furs thing. And favorite line comes from our character Mary, where she says, we're reclaiming it. And that's referring to the word Karen, which I think is kind of a silly image. And my favorite character is not Mary, but the contents of the bag. I'm not going to spoil it, but the thing that's in the bag, that's my favorite character. And my overall rating for this one is a 7. It's all right. I think it could definitely be improved on. Let's take it to our last week's play, to Captain Me. Space, the final frontier. I'm going to be honest, I don't think this week's play is actually that great. I really did try to make this one very nuanced and complex in these characters and their relationships with each other. And just like with a few other plays that I've done in that vein, I sent it to some people and they told me, hey, this is kind of confusing and it doesn't really make sense. So, I went for something in this one. I did my best. It's following a captain, a first mate, and a navigator who have just witnessed the rest of their crew getting sent to this planet as part of one of their space missions, right? They get to this planet, and through a series of events that we don't get to see, this planet has exploded. It's gone. This whole planet is destroyed, and their crew along with it, like they're gone too. And we follow them after, where they've been sitting in space outside of this planet's orbit, and they're trying to figure out what to do. It's yeah, it's kind of like a little people story. It's not very long, and I do think that's kind of one of the downsides to it, is that it does need a little bit more time and space to flesh out its ideas. So if I did come back to work on this, I think I'd keep writing more, and I would kind of make their confrontation a little bit longer. But, you know, give me your thoughts. If you go down and read it, you can tell me if you think it's confusing too. I definitely do. Captain signing off. Oh my God, I was so shaky. Are you okay? Are you nauseous? Ooh. This play I've called SS Decisions. The SS in this case does not stand for Starship, but instead stands for Split Second, which I think is a little clever moment for myself. It has 4 pages and 533 words. It's mostly dialogue. I've got themes of obligation, morality, conformity. These 3 crew members who have to decide whether or not to keep listening to their base, who just caused this great tragedy. 4 hours it took me to write. That might be lowballing it. I think it might take a little longer. Not applicable for prep and planning. For most of these I didn't prep. I was really busy. Medium potential. I don't know how big this could actually end up being, but it does have some elements that I think could be fun to play with. 25% comedy, but 60% drama. Definitely that's the ratio there. Friend approval rating comes from Lux. She says it's a little confusing. It's actually kind of nice for once in a while to actually hear a negative comment from Lux. I think Lux is such a good friend and such a great collaborator, because she's always trying to look for what's good about the works. If she thinks it's confusing, I think it's going to be extremely confusing. So I agree. I understand what she's saying. I approve of her rating. And I just keep that in mind if you read it, that it's maybe not the most explained of a plot. Potential costumes, they've got to be like Space Federation uniforms. I don't think we should go full Star Trek with this. I think it just needs to be like that idea of, here's this federation that controls space. I was trying to say like airspace, but space doesn't quite work. And they have a basic uniform. And then my favorite line is probably this one: Stormy, what's our heading? Just because I love combining 2 words that are very nautical in nature and actually having it be about a starship. That comes from our captain, whose name is Evelyn. And my favorite character is the navigator, who I just named there, Stormy. My overall rating for this one is a 6. I don't know if it's super clear right now. Otherwise, I would probably put it at a higher rating. So that is all of our plays for May. I'm really excited for this June. I've got a lot of interesting things going on. I got a new job. I've got a lot of calls that I'm expecting to come in for acting work, which is something that I try to get as much as possible. And I'm really excited for just having a busy summer instead of a lazy summer. For once. It's going to be fun to have something to do, a sort of routine to create, and having a lot more freedom, not in works, but in my actual personal life. I'm really happy with this new place and how we're all set up here. I think it's a big change for me, and it's going to be a good change, and I'm really happy about it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that at the end of the video, that I'm really excited for what's coming up this summer. And I thank you for watching another one of these monthly recap videos. I'm hoping they're getting more interesting over time. And my energy has definitely been getting better. I think the first few I was maybe not as pumped to make these. And now that I've got the rhythm down, I'm definitely much more set. But I do want to introduce you real quick to a problem who had some issues in my filming here. So everybody, if you remember her from last video, This is my cat, Pico. Pico is a lovely girl, and one morning at 4 a.m., she woke me up by pouring a cup of water into my computer case. So, tried to drink from the glass, knocked it over into my computer. Almost immediately, it destroyed my graphics drive and definitely messed up with some other important parts. And I could see she's quite embarrassed by it. So if you're wondering why this video might be a bit later than the beginning of the month, it's because this girl killed the thing I had just set up to do film editing.